The phone rang at 3:42 a.m. John Wayne wasn't sleeping. He hadn't been sleeping lately. He sat in the living room, holding a whiskey in his hand, staring into the darkness. When the phone rang, he knew who it was, because phones only ring at 3:42 for two things, either a birth or a death. And John Wayne knew Ward Bond wasn't expecting a baby. He picked up the receiver. He listened. He said nothing, just listened. Then he put the receiver back down. He drank the whiskey in one gulp. He threw the glass to the floor, and he accepted that 40 years of friendship had ended with a final fight. November 5, 1960. Dallas, Texas, a hotel room. And the hole in John Wayne's heart was too big to ever close. This is the story John Wayne never forgave. The story he never forgave himself for. Because sometimes, the most painful thing isn't the words you say. It's the words you never say. It was early November 1960. John Wayne and Ward Bond were filming a special episode of the Wagon Train series in Dallas. Ward was the star of the show. John Wayne had come as a guest star, just to support his friend. But actually, it wasn't just for support. Because Ward Bond was dying, and they both knew it. Ward had heart problems, serious. Doctors had told him to stop, to leave the show, to rest. But Ward, like all other stubborn men, hadn't listened. "I'm fine," he insisted. "Just a little tired." But he wasn't tired. He was dying. And John Wayne couldn't tell his best friend that. John Wayne and Ward Bond had known each other since 1920, 31 years. They'd met at university, at USC. Both played American football. Both were broken-nosed, punched, tough kids. And both wanted to be actors. They'd gone to John Ford sets together. They'd worked as extras together. They'd starved together. They'd become stars together. 31 years, hundreds of films, thousands of nights, tens of thousands of drinks, endless fights, endless reconciliations. But this time was different. Because this final fight would truly be the last. It was the first days of November. The weather in Dallas was cold. The set had been established outside the city. An old western town set. Wagon Train's familiar style. Wagons, cowboys, dust. Ward Bond arrived on set at 6 a.m. He looked pale. There was a slight tremor in his hands. He was having trouble breathing. The director, Howard Christie, approached him. "Ward, we can postpone today's shoot. You don't look well." Ward pushed him away. "I'm fine. Let's work." John Wayne was watching from the corner. He saw Ward's walk. That old, strong, unshakable walk was gone. This was a slower, more careful walk. The steps a man takes to avoid getting hurt. Duke stepped out from the corner. He approached Ward. "Ward, got a minute?" Ward turned. He smiled, but his eyes were tired. "Duke, what's up this early?" "I want you to rest," John Wayne said. "I'm serious. What did the doctors say? Not to work? Then don't work." Ward's smile vanished. "Look, Duke," he said, his voice hardening. "I don't need your babysitting. I'm not a child. I can make my own decisions. This decision will kill you," John Wayne said. Silence. The crew around them froze. Everyone had heard. John Wayne rarely shouted. But this time he had shouted. Ward looked at him. Something changed in his eyes. Hurt, anger, and pride. "You can't tell me what to do," Ward said, his voice low but dangerous. "You're not my boss, Duke. You're not my director, and you're certainly not my father. I'm your friend," John Wayne said. "Then act like a friend, and stop interfering with my work." The two looked at each other for a long time. 31 years of friendship hung between those two looks. Then Ward turned and walked away. John Wayne called after him. "Ward, please, just rest for a week. Just 1 week." But Ward didn't answer. He just kept walking. And John Wayne would remember that moment forever. Because the last words he would say to Ward Bond were pleading words. Not angry words. Not loving words. Just desperate, empty words. The shoot was difficult. Ward had to pause constantly. He forgot his lines. One scene required 5 takes. John Wayne grew more worried with each take. During lunch break, John Wayne went to Ward's trailer. He knocked on the door. "Go away, Duke," Ward said from inside. "I don't want to talk." "Ward, I need to listen to you." "No, you don't. Now go." John Wayne opened the door. He went inside. Ward was sitting on the bed. His head was in his hands. Duke saw him and his heart broke. This man was his best friend. This man was the man who saved him, and whom he saved. This man was the one who stood by him in every difficult time, and now he was dying. "Ward," Duke said softly. "Forgive me. I didn't mean to yell at you. I'm just afraid of losing you." Ward raised his head. His eyes were red. "Duke," he said, "I'm afraid too." The confession hung in the air. "I'm afraid of dying," Ward said. "But more than that, I'm afraid of dying as a coward. If I stop now, if I surrender now, it means I'm accepting it. This show is my life. This character is me. And if I quit now, I quit who I am." "You're not a TV character," John Wayne said. "You're Ward Bond, and you're my brother." Ward wiped his eyes. "I know, Duke, and you're my brother too, but you don't understand me. I can't stop. If I stop, I die. But if I work, I live. Maybe not for long, but at least I live as myself." John Wayne didn't know what to say, because he understood Ward. He would do the same thing. So he just nodded, and he squeezed Ward's shoulder. "Okay," he said. "But one condition. If you feel sick, if there's pain, tell me. Immediately. Promise." Ward nodded. "I promise." But he was lying, and they both knew it. The shoot continued for 3 more days. Ward got a little weaker each day, a little paler, a little slower, and John Wayne got a little more worried each day. On the last day of shooting, Friday, November 4th, Ward was supposed to fall from his horse in a scene. It was a simple stunt move. According to the script, Ward's character falls into a trap and falls from his horse. The stunt coordinator approached Ward. "Ward, I can do it for you. It's an easy fall. But still, let's not take the risk." "No," Ward said. "I'll do it." The director intervened. "Ward, please. Let Tom do it. Nobody will notice." "I'll notice," Ward said. John Wayne wasn't on set. He was shooting his own scene elsewhere. But when the news came, he came running. Ward fell from the horse. "He can't get up." Duke ran. He found Ward on the ground. His face was white as a sheet. He couldn't breathe. He was clutching his chest. Duke fell to his knees. "Ambulance! Someone call an ambulance." The medic came. He checked Ward. He gave him oxygen. But Ward's condition wasn't stabilizing. The ambulance arrived in 10 minutes. They loaded Ward onto a stretcher. John Wayne got in the ambulance. At the hospital, doctors took Ward to the emergency room. John Wayne sat in the waiting room. For hours. He didn't move. He didn't speak. He just waited. Finally, a doctor came out. "Mr. Wayne, Mr. Bond is stable, but his condition is serious. He's had a major heart attack. The next 24 hours are critical." "Can I see him?" "Yes, but briefly." John Wayne entered Ward's room. Ward was lying in bed. Machines were connected to him. He was breathing, but weakly. Duke approached. He held Ward's hand. "Ward," he said, "can you hear me?" Ward's eyes opened. Slightly. "Duke," he said, his voice a whisper. "Yes, I'm here." Ward stopped. He couldn't breathe. "Don't talk," Duke said. "Just rest. We'll talk tomorrow. We'll talk about everything. Okay?" Ward nodded. He closed his eyes. John Wayne stayed for a few more minutes. Then a nurse came in. "Mr. Wayne, he needs to rest. You can come back tomorrow." Duke nodded. He looked at Ward's hand. He didn't want to let go, but he did, and he left the room. When he returned to his hotel, it was 11 p.m. He showered. He lay in bed, but he couldn't sleep. He just stared at the ceiling, and he thought, what would he say to Ward tomorrow? Would he apologize? Would he thank him? Would he tell him he loved him? For 31 years he'd never said it, because men didn't say that, especially men like John Wayne. But tomorrow he would say it. Tomorrow he would tell Ward how important he was in his life. Tomorrow. But tomorrow never came. The phone rang at 3. John Wayne picked up the receiver. "Mr. Wayne." The doctor said, "I'm sorry. Ward Bond died an hour ago. His heart couldn't take it." John Wayne said nothing. He put the receiver down, and he understood that 31 years of friendship had ended with unspoken words. The funeral was held a week later in Los Angeles. Thousands of people came. All of Hollywood was there. John Ford spoke. Maureen O'Hara spoke. Others spoke. But John Wayne didn't speak. He couldn't. Because everything he wanted to say he should have said while Ward was alive. And now it was too late. After the funeral, John Wayne visited Ward's widow, Mary. Mary was sitting in their small house. Her eyes were swollen, her face pale. "Mary," Duke said, "if you need anything at all, call me, please." Mary nodded. "Thank you, Duke. But what I need is something you can't give." Duke didn't know what to say. Mary continued. "Ward talked about you. Always. He loved you, Duke. He really loved you. But in the last few months he was sad. He said that you and he had fought. And you didn't fix it." "I tried to fix it," Duke said. "But I didn't have enough time." Mary looked at him. "Duke," she said, "Ward died. But you're still alive. And there are people in your life. Tell them you love them. Because you'll never have enough time. Never." When John Wayne got home, he went to the living room. He poured a whiskey. But he didn't drink it. He just looked at the glass, and he thought about Ward Bond. 31 years. Thousands of memories. But the only thing that came to mind was the words he didn't say. The next day, John Wayne did something he'd never done. He wrote a letter to Ward. A letter to a dead man. He wrote, "Ward, I didn't say the things I needed to say to you. In Dallas, at the hospital, I should have told you. But I was scared. Because men don't say things like that. Right? Men are strong. Men aren't emotional. But I was a stupid man. I loved you, Ward. Like a brother. Maybe more than a brother. You were my best friend. And I never told you that. I never said it. That last day, on set, I yelled at you. I tried to stop you. But I used the wrong words. What I should have said was, I love you and I don't want to lose you. But I said you should rest. And now, it's too late. I wish I could go back. I wish I could relive that last moment. At the hospital, holding your hand. I would tell you everything. But I didn't. Because I thought there would be tomorrow. But tomorrow never came. Ward, I miss you. Every day. Every hour. And this letter won't change anything. But at least I wrote it. I didn't leave it unsaid. I love you, brother. I always did." John Wayne folded the letter. He put it in an envelope. He wrote Ward Bond on the envelope. Then he went to the kitchen. He lit the stove. He held the envelope to the fire. It burned. And he scattered the ashes to the wind. Because sometimes, the words you can't say rise to the sky with smoke. And maybe they reach there. 1961 came. John Wayne made other films. He tried to make other friends. But no one could ever fill Ward's place. One day, on set, he was working with a young actor. The kid was 22 years old. Just like John Wayne was when he met Ward. During the shoot, the young man made a mistake. He forgot his line. He apologized. John Wayne approached him. "Don't worry, son," he said. "Mistakes happen, but Mr. Wayne," the kid said, "I disappointed you." John Wayne looked at him. He saw the young version of Ward. And he did something no one expected. He put his hand on the kid's shoulder. And he hugged him. "You didn't disappoint me," he said. "You're wonderful. And I'm proud to work with you." The young man was shocked. John Wayne didn't hug. Especially not men. But that day he did. Because he wanted to do what he couldn't do for Ward Bond. After the shoot, the director approached John Wayne. "Duke," he said, "you hugged that kid. What happened to you?" John Wayne smiled. A tired smile. "I lost a friend," he said. "And I understood too late. You need to show people that you care about them. If you wait to say it, you might never say it." From that day on, John Wayne changed. He became less harsh. He talked more. He touched people more. Not physically, emotionally. On sets, he gave advice to young actors. He thanked the crew. He told people he appreciated them. And every year, on November 5th, Ward Bond's death anniversary, John Wayne would buy a bottle of whiskey, pour 2 glasses, one for himself, one for Ward, and sit alone. And talk. He would tell Ward everything. What he did that year. Who he missed. What he learned. And every time, he would say, "I love you, brother. And I wish I had the chance to tell you that." In 1976, John Wayne was shooting The Shootist, his final film, the story of a man dying of cancer. There was a scene. His character gives advice to a young man about life, about death, about regrets. While shooting the scene, John Wayne strayed from the script. He used his own words. "Son," he said, looking at the young actor, "I learned one thing in life. Say what you want to say. Feel what you feel. Because there's no such thing as tomorrow. There's only now. And if you don't use now, you'll never get another chance." The director said cut, but John Wayne didn't stop. "I lost a friend," he continued, "and I didn't say the things I needed to say to him. And every day, every damn day, I live with that. So I'm telling you, don't wait. Don't hide. Say what you feel." The young actor, Ron Howard, couldn't hold back his tears. The shoot ended. The crew applauded quietly, because John Wayne wasn't acting. He was speaking the truth. In June 1979, John Wayne died. At the funeral, Ron Howard spoke. "John Wayne taught me something," he said. "He taught me not to wait. He taught me to tell the people you love that you love them, because tomorrow might not come." He learned that lesson, painfully, from a man named Ward Bond. And he shared that lesson with me. And now I share it with you. Say it. Whatever you want to say. Whoever you love, say it. Say it now. After the funeral, someone went to John Wayne's house to collect his personal belongings. And in the living room, in a drawer, they found an envelope. On the envelope it said Ward. Inside was a note. Old. Yellowed. From 19. The note said, "I'll tell him tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll tell him everything." But tomorrow never came. And John Wayne had lived with that note for 19 years. To remind himself every day, never to wait again. The story of Ward Bond and John Wayne isn't a story of friendship. It's a story of unspoken words, of missed moments, and of there being no second chances. Because life doesn't always give you tomorrow. Sometimes it only gives you today. And if you waste today, you can't take it back. John Wayne learned this, in the most painful way, by losing his best friend. But at least he learned, and he passed that lesson to others. So this story is a warning. Say it. Whoever you love, say it. Whatever you feel, show it. Because one day it will be too late. One day, the phone will ring at 3:42, and tomorrow will never come, and all that will be left are the words you didn't say. Sometimes, on every November 5th, someone leaves a bottle of whiskey at John Wayne's grave, with 2 glasses. One for John Wayne, one for Ward Bond. And in the stone silence, the wind blows. And maybe, just maybe, 2 old friends share a drink again. And this time, they say everything.